Does it make sense for the USA to merge with Canada? The merger of the United States and Canada was unthinkable until recently, when President-elect Donald Trump mentioned it. Although it is unlikely to happen, it is interesting to see how the merged country would look. Both countries have similar history and cultural backgrounds. Some people even question why Canada and the US had not been formed as one country to start with. The migration of Canadians and Americans is happening all the time. Millions of Americans have Canadian roots, including well-known figures like Ellen DeGeneres, Alec Baldwin, Vince Vaughn, Madonna, Angelina Jolie, Hillary Clinton, Sarah Palin, Jack Kerouac, Walt Disney, Walter Chrysler, and Thomas Edison. Economically, the countries are already highly integrated. Canada ships more oil to the United States than any other country, and is an important source of electrical power, uranium, metals, minerals, natural gas, and automobiles. In return, Canadians buy more US products than the entire EU. US corporations own 12% of Canada's corporate assets, half of its oil industry, and most of its manufacturing. US retail chains garner 60% of all retail dollars spent by Canadians at home. Canadian corporations are the third biggest investors in the United States, and Canadian foreign direct investment levels in the US nearly match the amount invested by Americans in Canada. Since 2008, individual Canadians have been the largest buyers of real estate in the United States among foreign buyers, or 25% of the total. Such integrated economics makes a merger easier. This video explores some aspects of the merged country. First, how the merged country would be called. Instead of Canada becoming part of the United States, equal footing should be given to Canada. One of the possible names of the new country should be United States of Canada and America, short for USCA or US. The political landscape of Canada should be maintained as much as possible. Therefore, each province of Canada should be a state of the new country. There are 10 provinces and 3 territories in Canada. The provinces are Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, and Saskatchewan. The territories are Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon. If provinces and territories are to be new states in USCA, then USCA will have 63 states. Canada's population is approximately 41.29 million, and the US population is 345 million. Thus, USCA will have 385 million people, ranking number 3 in the world. Canada's GDP is around $2.22 trillion, and the US GDP is around $28 trillion. USCA's GDP will be $30 trillion, number 1 in the world. In terms of territory, the United States has 9.8 million square kilometers, and Canada has 9.98 million square kilometers, making USCA the largest country in the world by land area, bigger than Russia, currently the country with the largest territory, roughly 17.1 million square kilometers. By the numbers, USCA is truly impressive. Merging the US and Canada will bring huge potential to both countries. USCA will have control over more oil, water, arable land, and resources than any country on Earth. It will have full access to the North Pole. USCA will have resources for the development of Canada's north, an estimated $17 trillion worth of metals and minerals, such as copper, gold, silver, nickel, uranium, diamonds, phosphates, potash, lead, zinc, iron ore, and rare materials used in hybrid cars, solar panels, and electronics. Only American capital, know-how, and military protection can do it right. The process of merging can be more difficult. Some compromises will have to be made, especially on the Canadian side. If the US political system is applied to USCA, each Canadian state will then have representatives in the Congress and Senate. The political parties in Canada will be political parties of the USCA. Harmonizing policies, from healthcare, public in Canada versus a mixed system in the US, to gun control, would be a major undertaking. The Canadian government has 3 branches: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. The executive branch is the Government of Canada. It includes ministers of the Crown and the Federal Civil Service. The structure of the Canadian government includes the monarch, Governor-General of Canada, Prime Minister, Cabinet, and ministers. The government structure of the Canadian part of the USCA will also change drastically. Apparently, positions such as the Crown, the Monarch, Governor-General of Canada, and Prime Minister will be eliminated. Cabinet and ministers will be merged into the respective functions in the US government. The Canadian military will also be integrated into the US military. Once the merge is complete, 13 new states from Canada will have a special election to select members of congressmen and senators to join the House of Representatives and Senate. At the same time, the Canadian dollar will be replaced by an equivalent amount of US dollars. We will see whether Trump can pull it off.